What's up, all you algebra kids? Today we're going to be looking at survey problems, which are going to deal with the Venn diagrams we just talked about. So in this section, we'll use Venn diagrams to tabulate information collected in a survey. In survey problems, it is helpful to remember that AND means intersection, OR means union, and NOT means complement. Also, BUT means the same thing as AND, so BUT means intersection. Okay, so symbols, this means the number of elements in set A. And then we'll return to that survey that we kind of did before. You're asked two questions. Would you be willing to donate blood? And two, would you be willing to help serve a free breakfast to blood donors? So we're going to use this Venn diagram to answer each question. Also be sure to translate each question into the set symbols it is asking for. Okay, so we've got set A, which is going to represent the set of students willing to donate blood. That's question one. And then set B is representing the number of students willing to serve breakfast to donors. That's question two. Okay, so one, how many students are willing to donate blood? So what is that asking for? That's asking for the number of elements in set A. So A is not just 370. Remember, A is the whole circle, so it's 370 and 120 put together. So there's a total of 490 students willing to donate blood. Number two, how many students are willing to help serve a free breakfast to blood donors? So that's the answer to question two. That is set B, the number of elements in set B. Again, same thing. It's got to be the whole circle of B. 120 and 220 makes a total of 340. Okay. How many students are willing to donate blood and serve breakfast? So I see that word and, that's going to be the intersection. So it's the number of the intersection of A and B, the number of elements in the intersection of A and B. Where's that? Well, that's of course right there in the middle. There's 120 that are willing to do both. How many students are willing to donate blood or serve breakfast? So what's our total number of students that are willing to do some kind of donation, either of their time or of their blood, or both? Because or means the union of A and B, right? So the number of elements in the union of A and B. So that's going to be the sum of these three numbers. 370 and 120 is 5. 490, 490 and 220 is 710. So there's 710 total students willing to do one or the other or both. Okay, how many students are willing to donate blood but not serve breakfast? So not, I see that word, that's going to be the complement. So they want to donate blood, but they do not want to serve breakfast. So that's just right there in region one, right? That's where they donate blood, but they do not want to serve breakfast. So how do we put that in symbols? They're willing to donate blood, so that would be A, right? But they're not, and they then not serve breakfast. So, but means intersection, remember that. So not serve breakfast would be the complement of B. So it's in A, but not in B. That would be 370. How many students are willing to serve breakfast but not donate blood? So that's going to be the opposite. The number of students in B, but not A. Okay, so that's just the other part, 220. How many students are neither willing to donate blood nor serve breakfast? So this one's tricky. The number of students that are not going to donate blood, so that's not A, and not B, not serve breakfast. So where is that on our chart? That's down here. These are the kids that aren't doing either, 290 of them. Then number 8, how many students were surveyed? So what's that asking for? The number of students in the universal set, right? How many students did we ask? So how do we figure that out? We add all 4 of these numbers together. I know what these 3 are. It's 710, and 710 plus 290 means we surveyed exactly 1,000 kids. So that's fun. Fun stuff right there. On the back, so same thing. In a survey on musical taste, people are asked, 1, do you listen to classical music? 2, do you listen to jazz? So what I would like for you to do here is pause the video, try these 8 questions, and then we will compare answers. So please do pause, and once I reveal the answers here, we can you can comment below and tell me how many you got right. Okay, so we're going to translate into symbols and answer the questions. How many respondents listen to classical music? So that's the number of students. We're going to call that set A, kind of like we did on the back. So 55 and 20 together, 75 people listen to jazz. How many listen, or to classical? How many listen to jazz? I'm going to call that set B again. 70 and 20 makes 90. So more people are listening to jazz than classical. All right, how many listen to both classical and jazz? 20. 20 of them did. And remember means intersection, so that's the number of elements in the intersection of A and B. How many listen to classical music or jazz? That would be all 3 of these, 55 and 20, 75 plus 70 is 145. So the number of A with the union of B, 145. Okay, how many respondents listened to classical music but did not listen to jazz? So that's the 55 over there. How do we put that into symbols? So it's classical but not jazz. How many listen to jazz but not classical? Jazz but not classical. That would be the 70, right? How many respondents listen to neither classical music nor jazz? So that's neither classical or jazz. That's these 30 guys out here at the bottom. And then how many were surveyed? So that's the number of people in the universal set. Add these numbers together. It's going to be the 145 plus the 30. Looks like 175 people were surveyed. So let me know how you did on that. Comment below. One more page here. Survey problems, solving them. Okay, so use the survey's description to find sets and draw a Venn diagram. 2, use the survey's results to determine the cardinality for each region in the Venn diagram. Start with the intersection of the sets, the innermost region, and work your way outward. We talked about that yesterday, and then, or I guess it was Tuesday, and then use the completed Venn diagram to answer the questions problem. So it's saying, with a word problem like this, draw a Venn diagram and then answer the questions. It's going to help you out a lot. Okay. So here's our survey. A survey is taken that asks 2,000 randomly selected U.S. and Mexican adults the following question. Do you agree or disagree that the primary cause of poverty is societal injustice? The results showed 1,060 people agreed with this statement. 400 Americans agreed with this statement. If half the adults surveyed were American, how many? And then there's our questions. Okay, so it looks like this is a two-step Venn, or two-circle Venn diagram, right? And the questions are how many Mexicans are in both of the statements. So it says that half of the adults surveyed were American, and if 2,000 were asked the question, how many Mexicans were asked? So there was also 1,000 Mexicans asked, right? Okay. Okay. So 1,060 people agreed with this statement. Now, this is an agree or a disagree question. So this is going to, we know that it's either yes or no, but so this is going to be U.S. citizens and Mexican citizens. Okay, so 1,060 people agreed with the statement. 400 Americans agreed with the statement. Now, there's no way that you can, none of these people I think were US or Mexican, so these really don't have an intersection. So there were, if 400 Americans agreed with this statement, then that would mean there would be 660 Americans, or Mexicans that agreed with this statement. So 660 agreed with the statement. How many would disagree? Well, if there was 1,000 asked, 660 agreed. That would mean there was 340 that disagreed. That's kind of a weird one. Let's look at the next scenario. It's better. Okay, 60 people were contacted and responded to a movie survey. The following information was obtained. 6 people liked comedies, dramas, and science fiction. 13 people liked comedies and dramas. 10 people liked comedies and science fictions. 11 people liked dramas and science fictions. 26 people liked comedies. 21 people liked dramas. 25 people liked science fiction. Now, if you go through that information, there's a lot more than 60 pieces of information, right? But there's only 60 people, so that means some of these are being counted twice, right? So with this, you want to start from the innermost, just like the other day, and work your way out. So C for comedies, D for dramas, S for science fiction, right? There are 6 of them that liked all 3. Okay. There are 13 people that liked comedies and dramas. Now, that doesn't mean there are 13 here, because 6 of them are already counted here. That leaves you with 7 right there. Okay. 10 people liked comedies and science fiction. So that's in this section. We already have 6 of those people counted. That leaves us with 4. 11 people liked dramas and science fiction. That leaves us with 5. And then that leaves us with the outermost parts. Okay, 26 total people liked comedies. Well, we have 17 of those 26 already accounted for. So how many does that leave? That leaves 9 that only liked comedies. 21 people liked dramas. We have 18 of them accounted for here. So that leaves us with 3 that only like dramas. 25 people liked science fiction. We have 15 of them here. That leaves us with 10 that only like science fiction. So there you go. Now that we have that filled in, these questions are going to be very easy. How many of those surveys liked comedies, but neither dramas nor science fiction? So they like comedies, but they don't like dramas or science fiction. So that would be those 9 right there. How many people liked dramas and science fiction, but not comedies? Dramas and science fiction, but not comedies. 5. How many people like dramas or science fiction, but not comedies? So they liked, that's or means the union, right? Remember that. Dramas or science fiction, so that would be that 18, but not comedies. So 18 of them. How many people liked exactly one movie style? So that would be these 3 out here, 12, 22. How many people liked at least 2 movie styles? At least 2. So these people like 2, those people like 2, these people like 2, these people like 3. That's at least 2. So it's these middle regions. So that's 10 and 12 makes 22. And then last one, how many of them liked none of the movie styles? Oh, we didn't account for that. We had 60 people, right? How many of them are accounted for? Let's do the addition of all of these people. See, there's 10 here, 10 there, 10 there. So there's 30. And then 30 and 14 makes, there's 44 that are in those circles. So how many are left? There's 16 of them out there. We forgot about that one. Don't forget. 16 people did not like any of those movies. What weirdos. But there you go. So that's it's a fun day. Just be careful with those symbols. That's where the tricky part, I think, is today. Let me know if you need any help with anything. I'll be happy to help you. Good luck on the My Math Lab assignment. Have a great day, guys.